Everyone loves Dark Souls, especially character creation, but what if we only used our starting loadout? The rules are as follows. The only direct damage we can inflict is from our starting loadout. We cannot equip any rings, armor, shields, or weapons. Other than that, let's get started. Choosing our permanent loadout for the run, we decide Assassin. And for our burial gift, we choose the Life Ring, which is going to be our only ring on this challenge. With that, we leave our character stock and start our journey. And this screen is not going to change throughout the run, besides the Ashen Estus flask, which we'll get in a second. Testing the S-Stock, which I've never used. It's actually pretty good. We awake Gundyr, parry him, and poke him, which results in an easy first try. Other than Umbral Ash, this video is basically going to be formatted as a boss rush, as we can't get any rings, weapons, or upgrades. And so, we get ambushed by Vort, and smack Vort around until phase 2. Since this boss is pretty much the same as it would be on a normal run, we don't have much trouble, and even during phase 2 we first try him. Onto the Greatwood. We menu for a resin, because we can't equip it onto our quick items. And while it doesn't take too long, and isn't an issue this early in the run, I have a feeling it'll become one. But otherwise, with this boss's weakness to fire, this is an easy boss. Moving on to the Crystal Sage, we do decent damage. Phase 2 is the cycle of repeatedly destroying the clones, getting a couple hits in on the Crystal Sage, and then repeating. After quite a few cycles, and one more, she goes down. Also, while I can't get more than 3 Estus, I can upgrade the Estus via Undead Bone Shards, but we make it to the Deacons. We smack them around in phase 1, and make it to phase 2. During phase 2 we pop a resin, and skirmish around with them. And they lose. Before the Abyss Watchers, we meet Patches, and kill him for his Ash. Now, we have unlimited dark damage. With our respawn set, we take on the Abyss Watchers. Initially, we try this boss with a more passive approach. But we trade into phase 2, which obviously isn't good. On our next try though, we're a lot more prepared. And keep it up to the end of the fight. Sometimes we pre-menu, waiting for a certain attack in order to apply a resin. Resulting in the Abyss Watchers going down. Hi, Lord Wolnir. Bye, Lord Wolnir. We head to the Smoldering Lake, where we face the Old Demon King. Now, the Old Demon King is weak to dark, and after the AoE, he implodes. We grab the Xanthus Ashes here for unlimited gold pine resin, and stock up. Through Irithyll, we make it to Pont of Sullivan. After a failed parry, and a few deaths, we try it again. And this fight isn't too bad. Once you learn the parry timings, he goes down pretty quick. and although Phase 2 is much clunkier, with less opportunities to attack, and basically no opportunities to parry. It just turns into a gauntlet of dodging attacks, and honestly kind of a war of attrition. Without Pine Resin, we don't even deal yellow damage. So, eventually, after killing his clone, we get a nice parry on him, and that leads to his death. So, Pontiff Level 1 falls. Next is Aldrich. We don't do much damage to him, but our ideal strat is to burn him down anyway. Attempt 1 doesn't go very well. So, we reset, and on our next attempt, we get pretty far. Menuing for Pine Resin and staying in the middle of the arena to speedrun over to Aldrich is pretty easy. And after some more quick menuing, Aldrich falls. Moving into Yorm, I was all like, and he was all like, so it's safe to say this is our hardest fight yet. First, our job is to bait out this one certain attack, where we can get one hit to his head. Every time we bait this attack, we get around 90 damage, and eventually can stagger him. But that takes a long time, and the stagger itself doesn't even do that much damage. After literally half an hour, we get one final stagger, which leads to him falling. Hi, Dancer. Bye, Dancer. Next is Osiris, who is weak to lightning. But, despite being weak to lightning, he's still incredibly resistant to our weapon. In Phase 2, we lead him into a corner, where we cheese him for the rest of the fight. The only move that Osiris ever hits me with is his no startup charge, and this is a good way to prevent him even throwing out that attack. Regardless, Osiris falls. True Gundyr is up next, and while the damage is intimidating, we just parry him because he has pretty much the same timings as the Eudex. And after quite a few parries, and one of my best ones, Champion Gundyr is destroyed. And after some meditation, and a plunging attack, we make it to the Nameless King. This fight is pretty standard in Phase 1. And other than a few deaths, and Dark Infusions in Phase 2, we kill the Nameless King. We run into another easy boss. No infusion for this one, he's resistant to everything. We make it to our next Lord of Cinder.
Oh dear. Another dogged contender. Welcome, unkindled one, purloiner of cinders. Mind you, the mantle of Lord interests me none. The fire-linking curse, the legacy of lords, let it all fade into nothing. You've done quite enough. Now have your rest.
After my Farandart run, I have zero trouble with Lorien. These moves are pretty telegraphed, and so with a few errors, we make it to Phase 2. Phase 2 is basically just a huge endurance test. How many times do you have to kill Lorien? For us, it was only 2. So pretty soon after Phase 2 starts, it ends without much fanfare. With one boss left, that being the Soul of Cinder, we give it a shot. And with quite a bit of experience in this fight, we put him into Phase 2, which is due for some more resin. Honestly, Phase 2 in this fight is easier than Phase 1. Doesn't matter what he throws out, it's pretty easy to dodge. Even though this fight is easy, it still takes quite a while to kill him. But, after quite a long fight, using up all our resin, we kill the Soul of Cinder. With our journey over, and being too stubborn to do anything else, we link the First Flame.